Hey everybody, welcome to the first recap of Survivor Samoa. Well, they're in the South Pacific and it looks pretty awesome. First impressions, there's a lady with a mullet and there's a really mean guy that looks like a pit bull. And yeah, there's some old people, a lot of old people. So they're already pre-divided into their two tribes, and Jeff tells them that they need to elect the leader. So write down who you think is going to be the leader. For Galu, it was Russell, the lawyer with the dreads. And for Foa Foa, it was Mick, the doctor. They had to make the first decision pretty quickly. They had to decide who was going to participate in the challenge and who was going to fit into each of the categories that Jeff threw out. So first they had to pick the swimmer. For Galu, it was John. For Foa Foa, it was Jason. Couldn't it just be Jason? It's got to be Jason. Just like it's not Marissa, it's Marisa. They had to pick the strongest. For Galu, it was Eric. And for Foa Foa, it was Russell. Because he looks like a pit bull. And mean. The most agile, Yasmin and Marisa for the Foa Foa tribe. Then they had to pick the smartest. Why did he pick Shambo? That's the lady with the mullet, in case you've forgotten. And Liz. She thought she was targeted because she was Asian. So it's an obstacle course, and they're playing for Flint. They always do on the first challenge. And Jason is in the lead. And Russell, he just picked right up where Jason left off. He was a pit bull. He was throwing those logs around like they were nothing. And then Marisa, oh my God. You know you're going on Survivor. Wear like a shirt that's tight enough. Your boobs were hanging out the entire time. I hate when they have to pixel out stuff. Shambo made up a lot of time on the puzzle, the last leg of the obstacle course, but Liz pulled it out in the end for Foa Foa, so they win the Flint. So Russell starts making alliances immediately back at camp. And he made the first three alliances with what he calls the dumbass girl alliance. He found the stupidest looking young girls and told them all that, look, it's me and you, right? To the end, final two. And then for his fourth alliance, he picked the old lady. But she doesn't really trust him. That would be Betsy. She's a police officer, and she knows from her work on the force all of a year that something doesn't feel right about Russell. So at Galu, the other Russell with the dreads was playing the part of community organizer. And he was getting everybody together to build their shelter. But nobody was agreeing on how it should be done. And John, the rocket scientist, stepped up and was trying to tell everybody what to do. But nobody would really listen to him. So back at Foa Foa, Russell's telling tales out of school. He's telling these stories at the campfire about him in Hurricane Katrina and how his dog, the German Shepherd, him and his dog, he didn't see him anymore, and then he was on a roof for 2 days. He's the puppet master. His goal in the game is to make life miserable for everyone, as bad as it can be, and then the weak people will be gone, and he'll be in charge without anybody even realizing that he is in charge. So he's pouring out people's water canteens, he's burning up their clothes in the fire. He is a multimillionaire. He's not there for the money. He's there because he has this sick sadomasochistic disease that he's kind of amused by this whole thing in a sick way. So congratulations, Russell, you're effed. So it's time for the immunity challenge, and 6 people from each tribe are going to be going through the obstacle course. It's always an obstacle course ending up with a puzzle. You should know that by now after like 19 seasons of Survivor. So the first 6 people go over these 3 A-frames carrying 3 bundles of ropes. Then they got to tie the ropes together and drag this crate through a little roller coaster. And then the remaining 4 people on each tribe have to disassemble the crate and put together the puzzle. So, make a long story short, it was pretty close, more or less, the entire time. But Galu wins immunity. And you know, I was not surprised that they did, because when they got to the immunity challenge, Foa Foa was doing a little smack talking. Everybody knows that smack talking on the opposite side is only going to get you riled up and win the challenge. So, back at Foa Foa, Mike is feeling very vulnerable because, for God's sake, he's 62 years old. He's the oldest one there. So he's trying to throw Ashley under the bus because he views her as the weakest, although she's probably able to kick his ass. So Marissa's on to Russell, and he knows it. And he can't have her there if she's going to ruin everything. So his mission is to get her gone. So he starts telling everybody, get Marissa out, vote for Marissa. And he keeps calling her Marissa, which is probably he's doing on purpose just to piss her off because it's Marissa. So it's time for tribal council. And Jeff immediately is like, Ashley, somebody's going home. And she's like, Jeff, it is what it is. She's all happy-go-lucky. And yeah, people don't like that because if you're okay with it, you might as well be you, Ashley. So Mike steps up and he's like, yeah, it's dog eat dog and everybody's wearing milk bone underwear. Thank you, Captain Obvious. It's a freaking game. Somebody's got to go home. Marissa and the pirate guy, I don't remember what his name was off the top of my head. They just don't get along. And when you start not getting along with people on the first show, there's a huge target on your back, honey. And she kind of realizes that as she's saying it and apologizes and is like, I won't let it happen again. But you know what? It's too little too late because she was voted out by at least 6 votes. So as Russell says, you played with fire, you got burnt. Next time, it is an epic physical battle. I love when they have this one because it's like really, it gets nasty, gets down and dirty. And it's creating bad blood between the tribes and amongst the tribes. So we'll see you next week. Till then, much love.